On this episode of GWeek, we take a spoonful out of the latest food source on campus.
Our publication is for students, by students, and we really want to come from a real and genuine place and talk to people in a real way and about an important subject. It's about food, it's about what you put in your body and how you nourish yourself.
See just how marijuana legalization in DC is affecting student life. And we talk to the president of Students Against Sexual Assault. All this and more on GWeek. Welcome to GWeek. I'm your host, Mariana Sotomayor. Election day is a couple weeks behind us, and while the Republican takeover didn't affect DC local politics, new laws are. A majority of residents voted yes on Initiative 71, which officially legalized marijuana use in the district. How will this affect GW students? Reporter Holly Goldberg has the story.
Just a year ago, only people suffering with cancer, AIDS, glaucoma, and muscle spasms could legally use marijuana in D.C. This summer, it was decriminalized to a $25 fine and the medical symptom list expanded. But on November 4th, Initiative 71 passed, when D.C. residents overwhelmingly voted to legalize recreational marijuana. GW Students for Sensible Drug Policy helped campaign the initiative and registered over 100 students to vote.
You have to be 21 plus. And that's it. It does not set up dispensaries. It does not tax and regulate. 2 ounces or 6 plants, no more than 3 of which can be flowering at any specific time.
You look at the statistics behind incarceration due to non-violent drug crime. It's predominantly African Americans who have gone to prison for drug use, even though drug use is pretty much the same between races.
The initiative will be certified December 3rd, then sent to Congress in January, where they'll have 30 days to veto it. Lauren Paget, a D.C. dispensary and SSDP employee, believes that Congress has better things to worry about.
So many members of Congress really see prohibition as a waste now that a lot of states have voted for recreational marijuana.
Some congressman does veto it, basically, I guess. You can expect us to be loud and out in the streets.
While D.C. becomes lenient on pot policy, GW's not raising high to celebrate. GW spokesperson Marilee Seller says GW's policy is consistent and required by federal law, and that students are still subject to disciplinary actions. Meanwhile, students have their own feelings on the matter.
It's a victimless crime. Nobody is hurt when somebody smokes weed. You can't overdose on weed. We can refocus our police resources into fighting violent crime.
I am against it. I think I know people who have been addicted to drugs, and including weed, and I think legalization offers more opportunity for people to try it.
I think that's a very good idea because marijuana has much less negative effects compared to things like alcohol and smoking. If we have it legalized, we can have more information available to people and control it and tax it.
I think it's great. I don't think there's a whole lot of reason to not pass legalizing marijuana. I mean, it benefits everyone who's paying taxes and obviously the people who want to get it.
Medical marijuana business has also increased with the initiative.
Certainly so much more interest, and maybe people who ordinarily are DC residents and wouldn't apply for the program, they see it as less stigmatized now. The DC Council seems to be really interested in adding retail stores to the initiative. However, then they have to submit it to Congress.
And they can legally smoke marijuana in the Capitol, but their constituents can't back home and they're criminalized for it. That's some of the message. DC is a small place compared to other states, but symbolically this is potentially one of the most important marijuana legalization campaigns.
For GWTV, I'm Holly Goldberg.
Thanks for the update, Holly. After killing thousands in West Africa, Ebola has become one of the most feared viruses in the world, especially in the United States. But GW students don't think it's worth panicking over. Reporter Sam Cherry gets their opinions in our newest segment, The Student Perspective.
Are you worried about getting Ebola?
No.
Are you worried about getting Ebola?
I'm worried about what?
Getting Ebola?
Ebola? Oh, yeah.
I don't think that anyone should be afraid of Ebola spreading around on campus because the issue with Ebola is that it's not airborne. So there isn't really a risk of it spreading very quickly. It spreads just through bodily fluids, bodily contact, which makes its spreading kind of delayed.
What do you know about it?
Not that much.
Give us what you got.
That it's happening in Africa right now. and that it's not happening in the U.S. except for a few rare cases, and that there is a way to treat it, but it's not around.
Okay. Do you know what the symptoms are?
Yes.
What are they?
Bleeding from different parts of your body, for example, maybe the eyes or like your ears.
It like melts your, it's gross. It's just really gross.
Headaches, fever.
I've heard that you have to be in direct contact with a patient to be able to get the disease yourself. And
sore throat, is that one? I don't know.
How many people in the U.S. have died from it?
Only 2?
I believe it's only one person has died so far, but I know a couple people have gotten it.
I think it's under 10.
Are you worried about Ebola spreading to GW?
Not at all. I think America's healthcare is perfectly capable of dealing with that. I think we'll be fine.
Are you worried about it coming to GW?
No, not at all.
Not even with our great hospital?
No, not really.
Thanks for that, Sam. We'll be right back.
The George Washington University, at the intersection of policy, practice, and research, connecting all that Washington has to offer with an intellectual environment that drives progress, transforming vision into action, offering learning experiences that are rigorous, real-time, and real-world. In a city shaping the future, George Washington is a place where faculty and students don't just study the world, they work to change it.
Records aren't broken on game days. They get broken at 6 a.m., late at night, while the rest of the world sleeps. Records are broken, one shot at a time.
Order your tickets today.
GW recently joined forces with the Obama administration in its efforts to prevent sexual assault on college campuses. The Student Association launched the It's On Us campaign in September, but one student organization has been raising awareness since 2010. I'm here with the president of Students Against Sexual Assault, Kirsten Dimovitz. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No problem. So I know, and I've been noticing that the SASA, has been making a lot of noise on campus recently. Good noise.
Yeah.
You guys are still trying to raise awareness, but like I've mentioned, you've been on campus for a while. So, what was the motivation to start the SASA here at GW? What was the original vision, and what are some of the impacts you've made?
Yeah. So first off, Students Against Sexual Assault calls itself SASA. So
SASA, I like it.
It's a really sassy name, and we have a hashtag SASAFierce. So we largely started as a reaction to our founder discovering that GW Hospital and the Student Health Center doesn't offer rape kits on campus for survivors of sexual violence. So we largely started to create awareness around that, and then we turned into kind of an advocate for survivors on campus, and we're still transitioning. So now we don't just work on awareness stuff, but we do advocacy with administration on policy changes, and then we are also partners with different community organizations, and then of course always a resource for survivors too.
So is there any updates with the rape kits being offered at the university hospital, or are they still not?
Yeah, so that was our founder's main goal. She started it about 5 years ago, and I think it really became bigger around 2010. But she was kind of a one-man team for a really long time, and the Student Health Center and GW Hospital still does not offer rape kits for survivors.
All right. So how are you going to try and push that? Because it's obviously a big deal for anyone if they're in that situation.
So when I came to GW, this was the first thing that I wanted to get involved with. But I think SASA had already transitioned kind of out of that and turned more into a resource for survivors and a awareness organization on campus. So I think where we have our roots in GW Hospital not offering rape kits, I think it's largely on the back burner because we are focusing on kind of the hearing process at GW and how we can prevent sexual assault from happening in the first place.
Right. So what are some of these events that you've been doing? I know you've actually partnered with the Student Association with the It's On Us campaign, but you're also doing your own things. You're just about to wrap up the National Week of Action. So tell us about some of these events.
Yeah, so SASA has two main annual events. We have one in the fall and one in the spring. In the fall, we do a statistic campaign, and that usually focuses focuses around some type of intimate partner violence or sexual assault statistic on a college campus. And we partner with different student organizations to kind of raise awareness about that and to get them involved in the conversation. And then in the spring we do our annual Take Back the Night, which is we partner with fraternities and they do Walk a Mile in Her Shoes to get the conversation going about rape culture and what it's like to be a woman on a college campus. And we also have events that foster discussion for survivors about their experience and moving forward in GW's culture.
Right, so I saw that you recently had a panel discussion for students. I think it was called Until I Say Yes. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Unless I Say Yes is kind of like our equivalent in the graduate student sphere. Okay. So Unless I Say Yes is the group of graduate students. They're kind of like the SASA.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was discussed? Were there any main topics that students brought up that were their main concerns?
Yeah, so they talked a lot about things that we've been fostering in our discussion lately about how we can create a culture at GW where people come here and they know how to respect one another and how to make sure that this doesn't happen. So we are really focusing on mandatory education, which is something we're working with the administration on. And then there's always the after effect of what to do once someone becomes a survivor, but we're really focusing on that education and prevention piece first.
Right. So what are the statistics at GW? Do you have that off the top of your head?
No, but I do know they are largely underreported, just like most sexual assault cases across the country. It can be, and it often is, very intimidating to come forward, especially on a college campus, because 60% of sexual assaults happen within a person's residence hall. So you probably know this person really well and you live with them, and it's hard to remove yourself from that situation. And of course there's always the survivor blames themselves, they feel guilty, and usually this person is a friend. So 90% of sexual assaults, I think it might be a little bit higher, happen from someone that you know. So we're largely combating also the stigma that it's someone who's jumping out of a bush that you don't kind of know. It's not that scary person on the street. It's usually between acquaintances, and you definitely have a trust that's broken down.
Right, and now just last question. How have you guys become a resource for these people? Do these victims, do they call you up? Do they have personal relationships with all of you? How has that worked out?
So while SASA is not a support group, we do offer a lot of those services. So I think, at least in my vision, we feel a little bit uncomfortable being kind of like the speak for sexual assault, because we're not, as students, we are trained but not well enough that I think that we could, talk about this in a way that's very therapeutic. Right. For all survivors, because survivors want to handle it in very different ways. So we have a member base that's comprised of a lot of survivors, but it's not something where we go around and we talk about it. So if a survivor wants to share their experience or to come forward that they are a survivor, they can definitely do that. But I think we usually offer the channel of kind of, I'm very angry, this happened to me, and now I want to do something about it. So survivors can come to us and they can find a safe space within SASA, but then they can also channel their energies into hopefully making GW a safer campus and preventing it for others.
Right, well, thank you so much for joining us. This is a really great conversation, and thank you for bringing awareness to this.
Thank you for having me.
Stay tuned after the break for more headlines.
It's on us to stand up to those who tell us it's not our business.
It's on us
to stop a sexual assault any way we can.
To step in if a friend is doing something that could lead to sexual assault.
To create an environment where women feel and are safe.
It's on us not to give our friends a pass. To change the way we talk about women.
To be more than a bystander.
It's on us to look out for someone who has had too much to drink.
To never blame the victim.
I'm a member of the GWeek community, and it's on us to end sexual violence.
Academic institution with a fine athletic tradition. Patricio Garino throws it down with two hands. Wonderful city. It's a great place to go to school.
Keaton Sandwich open down the right side. Will go and Duncan with his right hand.
Not just a family, it's a whole community.
Armwood Duncan with 1.9 seconds left. Armwood, a thunder slam. 81-80 George Washington. A huge victory for the Colonials.
So George's been doing a pretty good job since he started here, huh?
Yeah, but I don't think he understands Casual Friday yet.
Hey, George.
What's up, George?
Yeah, real presidential.
Welcome back. And now for the headlines. Have you ever gotten locked out of your dorm room? Well, your cell phone might be able to help. Students who live in tap-access residence halls will be able to text a number to unlock their door. The technology will take effect next year. If you're one of the many students who complain about GW's housing prices, just know that it could be worse. The Center for Education Statistics says that GW's $11,000 average is actually cheaper in comparison to neighboring schools. Howard and Georgetown have an average cost of over $13,000, while American tops the list at around $14,000. He's big, he's bronze, and at 600 pounds, you can find George Washington sitting right next to you in Kogan Plaza. Well, his statue, that is. GW trustee and alumni Mark Shankman donated $50,000 for the bench, which has become quite the place to take a selfie with the first president of the United States. Chef Jose Andres is opening a fast food eatery on campus in early spring 2015. The restaurant, ironically called Beefsteak, will serve vegetarian meal options. It will be located in the new Science and Engineering building on the corner of 22nd and I. Speaking of food, GW students can never get enough of it. With Georgetown and DuPont around the corner, students have become experts on culinary delights. But Spoon University, a food-based news source, says you haven't discovered it all. Mary Grace Brown has the scoop.
Spoon University is a website that offers college students recipes, restaurant reviews, and tips for healthy eating. Today, I'm meeting with the editor-in-chief Rachel and the marketing director Jasmine to learn more about this exciting new organization.
My name's Rachel and I'm the editor-in-chief of Spoon University. It's really just a food community where people can talk about healthy eating and where to eat out. I wanted to launch Spoon University because I love food. GW didn't have anything like a food publication, and we're in DC, which is it's a food city. It's for foodies. There's so many great restaurants and famous chefs.
I'm Jasmine Baker. I am the marketing director for Spoon University. Our publication is for students by students, and we really want to come from a real and genuine place and talk to people in a real way and about an important subject. It's about food. It's about what you put in your body and how you nourish yourself. When you buy your groceries and you cook your own meals, you're a lot more conscious of what goes into your food. I would definitely recommend Whole Foods. We have a partnership with them currently. There's so many great options out there, and so Spoon University is here to provide a resource where students can go to our website and see how to make their own food at home and get different ideas and get creative in their own rooms.
If students want to learn more about Spoon University, they should definitely check out our website where all of our articles are posted. And we have everything from recipes to restaurant reviews to drink ideas, and then just tips and tricks about how students can eat healthy and balance their diet.
Be sure to check out Spoon University's website to learn more. Reporting for GWTV News, I'm Mary Grace Brown.
Thanks, Mary. I suddenly find myself really hungry. Well, that's it for our show. If you can't wait for more GWeek next semester, make sure to check us out at www.gw-tv.com for full episodes and webisodes. Until next year, we'll be seeing you around GW.